Hey guys, I just wanted to share this idea with you because I really have been thinking about it lately. I saw this really nice animation where you see this designer and the client is on top of him, like clicking and controlling him. And this is something we all as designers struggle with. It's the idea that we're not in control of the situation, that the client is really mastering us and that he's really telling us what to do. And this is the kind of frustrations that a lot of starting designers have, but it keeps going throughout the career, of course. It's this feeling of like powerlessness when the client starts steering you in a certain direction. And the idea is that strategy or brand strategy specifically can help you gain more control, can help you become less of an order taker and more of someone who is really in control in the relationship. Well, this idea is kind of funny because for me, actually, I started out designing, and with all the frustrations that a lot of designers have, these typical clients from hell kind of stories. And it is true, there's a lot of like, when you're starting out, there's a lot of frustrating moments. And when I started doing brand strategy, when I started learning about it and actually started doing it with my clients, I did get a sense of like getting more control and getting more power in the relationship, because the clients started seeing me as an expert and started trusting me more to that I will do what is right for the brand. But actually, what I really started realizing in the last year is that the moment you start becoming better and better and you start becoming more valuable, that it's not about gaining control, it's actually about giving up on control. Now that may sound a bit weird because you think like, okay, the more strategic you become, the less you have to like explain the whole output to the client. But for me it's different. Actually, if we look back at this animation, it's not just the client that is looking over our shoulder and guiding us or guiding our mouse. It's actually the customer, it's the strategy, it's the culture you're living in, it's all kinds of things. It's the vision of the founder if he's still around. So all these things should be guiding you. So it's not about pushing the client away, it's actually pulling the client closer, but combining this with views from the customer, what is living in the culture, what are certain truths that we know that can help us guide this design direction. So instead of trying to gain control, actually just be aware that giving up control is okay. That the more you give up control, the more you will realize that a brand is a combination of a strong vision, a strong product, a strong customer base, a certain type of culture, and a good design executional solution. But that's not the only thing. I see a lot of commentary when it comes to new logo designs, like this is too simple and this is not good and we don't like the brand anymore. But that's just really a narrow point of view. That's the point of view from the designer. Sometimes I feel like the logo or identity will solve everything. That's why there is a lot of negative feedback or bashing when a new logo redesign comes in. And it's really simple. You feel like a lot of designers have the urge to say like, well, this is not the right solution, it doesn't have any character. But that's just because you're too focused on the logo. It's not just the logo. For example, there were all these fashion brands in 2018 that redid their logo, and it was really simple. And there's this graphic that circulated all around Twitter and so on, where you saw all these sans serif logos, and it was even called blanding, where it's like they're creating just bland brands. And there was even like a term for it, blanding, where they were saying like even in fashion and in tech there's a lot of boring logos, sans serif, all these kind of typical things. But the thing they are forgetting is that this visual identity is just a small part of it. When it comes to fashion, it's really about the product line, it's about the clothing, it's about the designers, it's about the reputation, it's about a lot more than this logo. So just one more example of this is, for example, Tesla. Maybe Tesla had some trouble and maybe it's time to find a new logo. Maybe the logo doesn't represent the company anymore. But if you would be a designer and just like wanted to have the full control and say to Elon Musk like, don't worry man, I got this covered, I'm gonna make this logo and this is gonna make your company different. Well, actually, you would need to sit down with Elon Musk. You would need to sit down with him for hours. You would need to talk to Tesla owners. You would need to drive a Tesla. You would need to talk to as many people as possible and actually give up some form of power and let them inspire what the design solution is. One more thought about this is that clients have a similar idea about this. They have this idea that they have a brand control room where they invite some specialists like you, for example, maybe some other people, and they can just push some buttons and they have all the control of the brand and what's it's about and who they're going to target and so on. But actually that's really a stupid metaphor, but because in reality a brand exists in reaction and interaction with the customer. So just get out there and start interacting and maybe shifting directions from time to time. Instead of trying to gain your own little spot of like, this is my control area, this is where I am, I would say like try to move towards the client, move towards the customer, move towards ideas, research, try to move towards the vision, the strategy behind it, and listen to all of it. And then create your own design solutions, but don't be afraid. Don't be obsessed by having control. It's actually the best brands are the brands that have a strong vision, a strong visual solution, a strong customer support, a good price point, all these things. Think about Tesla again, like if Elon Musk wouldn't have existed, a designer couldn't have created the brand. A designer together with a strong vision can create the most beautiful brands. Think about Patagonia, which is like this awesome brand because this founder has this amazing vision about durability and society and so on. If you can create a great logo that like enforces that idea, that's great. But if you think like we don't need this client or his input, then you're wrong. Then maybe you need to become an artist, because design is about enforcing and creating communication. So I hope that inspires you to go out more and research more and talk more with the client and the customer, and don't be afraid to give up control.